Royal leak, the truth about Princess Leonor's secret romance. A perfect princess. A flawless future queen. A secret no one was meant to discover. They said her heart belonged only to Spain. But what if it already belongs to someone else? Because behind the crown, there's a love story the palace couldn't hide forever. Princess Leonor of Spain has spent her entire life under the watchful eyes of a nation. Every step, every smile, every moment carefully shaped for the destiny awaiting her, the crown. To the world, she is discipline personified. Duty first, always composed, untouched by scandal. But recent leaks suggest that beneath the surface lies a truth the royal family desperately tried to bury. The truth about her secret romance. It began quietly, hidden in plain sight, during her time in the Spanish military academy. What was meant to be a year of service and structure became something far more human, and far more dangerous. For months, the royal household maintained silence. But a leaked photo, a mysterious name, and a whisper that refused to die have now turned that silence into the loudest sound in Spain. The leak came from within, a palace aide who hinted that Princess Leonor had grown, emotionally close, to someone outside the approved royal circle. He wasn't a prince, nor a politician, nor a foreign noble. He was a soldier, a peer in her training unit. At first, the story was dismissed as gossip. Yet, insiders began to piece together clues. A shared look during an official inspection. The way Leonor smiled during one particular drill. Too subtle for the press, but not for those who knew what to watch for. And then, the photo appeared. Blurry, unconfirmed, but undeniably real. A young man in uniform walking beside her, their steps perfectly aligned, their eyes meeting in that fleeting way that only two people hiding something would recognize. It spread through private networks before the palace could react. Within hours, the internet was ablaze. Who is the man who stole the future queen's heart? The Spanish royal house went into lockdown. The communications office issued no statements. Officially, nothing happened. But behind closed doors, everything changed. King Felipe VI, known for his calm, faced a dilemma that mirrored his own past. Decades ago, he defied the royal establishment by marrying Letizia Ortiz, a journalist and commoner. Now his daughter seemed to be following a similar path. Queen Letizia, deeply protective of Leonor, reportedly confronted senior advisors. She remembered the cruelty of public judgment, and refused to let her daughter be crushed by it. Still, the royal image had to be protected. The alleged young man was quietly reassigned, moved to another base, far from the academy. His name never spoken publicly again. His digital footprint erased. But as any royal watcher knows, once love enters the royal equation, distance is rarely enough to destroy it. Sources close to Leonor say she was devastated. For weeks, she appeared distant, withdrawn, her once confident demeanor softening into quiet melancholy. During public ceremonies, she smiled, but her eyes told a different story, the story of someone holding on to something she could not keep. And this is where the leak grows even deeper. Some insiders claim the two continued to communicate secretly through mutual friends, hidden accounts, and coded messages. Others believe the affair ended abruptly under royal pressure. But one thing remains certain: Leonor's emotional maturity and poise in public since then have only strengthened. Because heartbreak, in the royal world, is never private. It becomes a test of endurance, one that defines who can truly wear the crown. In recent months, Leonor has been seen at major events, her military oath, her royal duties, her speeches about unity and service. Every time, her words seem to carry double meaning. When she speaks of sacrifice for Spain, many wonder if she's speaking from more than just duty, but from the loss of something deeply personal. And the leak didn't stop at the photo. Documents circulated among palace watchers hinted that the king personally intervened, ordering increased supervision over Leonor's communications and movements. For her safety, they said. But others saw it as control. The media storm grew. Foreign tabloids speculated wildly. Some called it a modern royal love story. Others called it a ticking scandal. But for the Spanish people, it became something more powerful, a symbol. A reminder that even their future queen is still a young woman with a heart that dares to feel. Royal experts note that the situation reveals a deeper truth about the Spanish monarchy's future. Leonor represents a new era, educated, independent, emotionally intelligent. The palace may try to manage her image, but her generation's transparency makes secrecy harder than ever. What the leak exposed isn't just romance. It exposed the tension between two worlds, tradition and truth. Because what does it mean to be royal in a modern world where love stories can't stay hidden behind palace gates? For Leonor, this might only be the beginning. Some close to her say she refuses to let others dictate her private life. They describe her as quiet but firm, aware of her responsibilities but unwilling to lose her humanity. And that strength, that mix of vulnerability and resolve, has begun to define her reign before it even begins. The royal family has learned this lesson before. Felipe and Letitia's marriage began under controversy but grew into one of the strongest alliances in European royalty. Could Leonor's secret love story become the same, forbidden now, but fated later? There's precedent. Princess Martha Louise of Norway, Princess Madeleine of Sweden, both defied royal expectations for love. Could Leonor follow in their footsteps? Or will she be forced to choose between her crown and her heart? Every appearance she makes now is analyzed, every expression dissected. When she spoke at her last public ceremony, her words echoed louder than expected. A leader must serve with honesty, to the people, and to herself. Was that an accidental phrasing, or a quiet declaration of independence? The leaks have slowed, but the damage, or perhaps the liberation, is done. The world has seen that the princess is not just a symbol. She is a person, and that person has known love, secrecy, and heartbreak. The palace, of course, continues to deny everything. They say no romance existed, no photograph is authentic, no story credible. But the tone of their denials grows softer each time, as if even they know some truths can't be hidden forever. What remains now is the question that haunts every royal story: will love survive the weight of the crown? If history is any guide, perhaps not. But Leonor isn't like those who came before her. She was raised to be both a monarch and a modern woman. If anyone can rewrite the rules, it's her. And maybe one day, when she wears that crown, she'll remember the boy who saw her not as a queen, but simply as Leonor. Because in the end, no matter how much they try to control the narrative, no palace wall can contain the truth forever. The royal leak proved it, that even the most guarded hearts can leave a trace. And as Spain watches its young princess rise, one thing is certain: her story is no longer just about duty. It's about courage, emotion, and the power of love that dares to exist where it's least allowed. The crown shines bright, but behind its glow, the truth of Leonor's secret romance continues to whisper, not as scandal, but as proof that even future queens are human after all.